Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kearns. This is Lisa Kearns, and we've been at Trace Ridge for about 1.5 years.
Generosity to me is giving of yourself to others who have needs. So for me, generosity started young. My parents taught me about tithing when I was a kid. I grew up in the church. I watched my parents practice every day what they were teaching me, and in the children's department. And then just as we grew as a couple, learning together to devote that time and effort and money to others.
I didn't have the experience that Lisa had, and one day when we were still, I think, pretty much, didn't have 2 nickels to put together, she goes, "Well, are you tithing?" And I'm like, "No." And she goes, "Well, we ought to be." It's like, okay. I used to think, oh, they want 10% of my income. That's just, I'm not sure about that. And then somebody pointed out that, God gives you 90% and only asks for 10. And I was like, oh, that's a much better deal. So, we have been doing that. And, once you start there, it's a lot easier to do more. So it's one of those things that I guess I got over time.
I can think of many experiences with watching Patrick be generous to total strangers. And one that stands out in my memory is when we were dating and I was visiting him in Tampa, Florida. We were doing something, I couldn't even tell you what. And we came upon a lady who had broken down. Her station wagon was broken down in the neighborhood. It was full of flowers. She was under the car, and we stopped, and Patrick got out. He tried to fix her car. When he couldn't, he put her and all the floral arrangements she was trying to deliver in our vehicle. And we delivered, I think, a couple that she was in danger of being late on to keep them from wilting. Took her back to his parents' house, got her fresh clothes to wear, and dropped her off back at her place of employment. And that kind of spirit is what I saw in Patrick, and I've seen him do that many, many times with other people, but that one stands out.
I struggled, especially when we were starting out, and it was like, okay, rice and beans again? Yum. That kind of pour. And it was tough to think, oh, doing with even less, how's that gonna work? And it was one of those things that it did work. Didn't expect it to. I expected it to fail, quite frankly, and God just laughed at me, and and it hasn't, and I've been absolutely faithful ever since, and God's been faithful to me. It's not church speak, it's just the reality. That's just the way things operated, at least for me.
The thing I wish more people knew is that if you're paying attention to the way you use the gifts that God has given you, it opens up the ability to be generous. So being faithful as a steward, and making space in your plan for that generosity.